I was like on the phone with my girlfriend and I was like, I wonder what it would taste like to mix. I got that like fruit punch moonshine and
Mm.
the fruit punch body armor. Because I'm like, it would kind of cut, you know, cancel out the dehydration from the moonshine, maybe.
Mm,
Yeah, probably not. But I added that and some simple syrup and some frozen strawberries.
you lit tonight, huh?
I mean, not really. I actually had a conversation with my girlfriend. I was talking to her. I need to I need to start video chatting other people. Cause I realized like I wasn't high energy before I got on the phone with her, but it was like I was recognizing in real time, like I'm like every time we talk, she always talking about how expensive stuff is and like
Mm.
I'm trying to get out of that. Like I don't need to be hearing about how expensive stuff is and I'm just like left my
Yeah.
job, you know what I mean? So I think that might have been a little draining to me. Um,
Mm.
yeah. So
Did you use your coaching abilities on her? Like, hey, let's kind of shift this.
I did a little bit. I have a few times before.
Mm.
I just think like because she's one of those like very go to church every Sunday type of thing. And she's like an overthinker. She's a, oh, God's gonna send me my husband, but she don't go nowhere.
Mm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like one of those, like, I gave it to God, but I guess I just still be subconsciously thinking about it. And I tried, like, I was like, hey, have you tried brain dumps? Have you tried journaling? And she's like, well, I do it on my phone. And I was like, that's funny you say that because I was recording a video for today for why writing as journaling is underrated for us overthinkers because you can't like run off on a tangent on the
Right.
paper. You know what I mean? And
Right.
she's just like, well, no, I just think my problem is she's one of those. Like, but I'm like, I just gave you like a couple solutions for it. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, no. It's just, people gotta on their own journey, but it definitely
Mm. You know, this
I've
talks.
been I've like it really resonates because I've been in that level of exhaustion where it's like you complain about your family and like because she moved away from family because she had to be a caretaker and then like every chance, like every time they invite you, you essentially go, and then you end up talking about how much money you spend because then you had to buy groceries and they asking you to cook and all that stuff, and you get like exhausted every time, but you still keep doing the same thing, like looping and looping and looping. And I'm
Right.
like, I remember that, but I'm like, yeah, that is just exhausting. Like, I was like, I just can't. But yeah, I don't think she's in that space to truly take accountability, for how she's feeling and how her life is and all that stuff.
Mm.
Cause she was like, well, I was like, I hope you get some good rest tonight. And she's like, yeah, you too. I hope you get some peace. I'm like, girl, I got that. Like, even
Right.
when I'm stressed, it's still a level of peace that I have in the stress versus like how it used to be a few years ago. You know what I mean? Like it hits different, but it's one of those things. It's like, dang, you just want to scream like, listen. But
Like I got the answers for you right here. You just gotta.
like, even if you don't do exactly, but like I got options for you. Like
Mm.
you got options.
Mm.
But
You know, that's funny, right? I was watching a video this morning, and I'm gonna make a stitch about it too. But this girl was on there, and she was talking about how religion is for the weak.
mm,
Very touchy the way she approached it. But I was like, I get where you're coming from.
yeah.
Um, I get where you're coming from. But my interpretation of that was, and my mentor taught me this years ago, and religion is for those who are afraid to go to hell, and spirituality is for the ones that have already gone through hell, right?
Hmm.
And I believe that religion is a great foundation, especially if you're on your spiritual journey. Like a lot of people nowadays don't really have a spiritual foundation um because of their family dynamic, where they come from, right? It probably wasn't really deeply rooted in anything spiritual, so you're just trying to discover what works for you. And I think that religion isn't really necessarily a bad thing, but I think it can become problematic if that's all you rely on. Not
Hmm.
necessarily like what you believe in, because I think religion and belief are two different things. Because religion is a structural construct, right? The root word of it means to bind, though, like to bind or constrict or whatever. And belief is just a thought that you continuously think over and over and over again. So you're just reinstilling or reinsuring whatever belief that you have about whatever spiritual aspect that you follow, whether it be Christianity, Quran, Muslim, whatever you believe in. You're just reinforcing that belief system by constantly thinking about it over and over and over again. That's the root of a belief. And I think that it's really all about wisdom. I think if you're not able to extract the wisdom from the text that you're reading, then it really doesn't serve any purpose other than solidifying what you think is right or trying to make it fit what you think is right. Like you said, your girlfriend was like, God was going to send me a man, but faith without works is dead. You see, it's condescending, So I think that there is and this ain't the topic. We're just talking right now, right?
I know.
And yeah, I just think that you have to kind of straddle the line a little bit when it comes to religion and belief, and figure out what works for you, and create a philosophy for your life. Like, yes, go by that, but at the same time, you need to have a philosophy about life for yourself and understanding for yourself, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think people use religion as a crutch, and they just don't question, they don't go beyond, they're not curious, I feel like, and I get it, like, because I ain't gonna lie, I feel like religion as a whole, I'm not gonna say like every religion or anything, but religion as a whole kind of, and this might be contrary to popular belief, but I feel like it's almost like politics, where it kind of instills the sense of fear in people, the sense of like separates, like, it separates, rather than, I feel like, when I got on my spiritual journey, I started to see like we are all connected. Like, you are me, I am you, like we are one and the same. We're just at different levels, like, at different paces, like, and I think that's the difference, is like politics, religion, it just tends to separate, it tends to make hierarchies, like, put people like, I'm better than you because, oh, I attend church every Sunday, but it's like, are you a good person though? You know what I mean? Like, are you actually like being the best version of yourself every day? Are you, serving your fellow man type of thing, And I just think, yeah, like people stop at, oh, have faith and give it to God. Okay, and then what? Like, what are you doing? Like, what is the implementation that we're going to do to show God that we are in alignment with it, or whatever the case may be? But yeah, I don't know. It honestly not, I don't take it on anymore like I used to. When people around me didn't, want to heal, essentially, but which is kind of funny because that's literally the topic for this week's live on Trigger Warning podcast. You're healing, but others around you aren't. So that's definitely gonna be on time. But it honestly does kind of low key break my heart to be like, man, like, I don't want to say people wasting their life, but I'm like, you're just going to work. You're tired. Even when she's like, oh, I can't wait till, like, what is it when the time change again?
Yeah, daylight savings.
And I'm like, girl, that hour ain't gonna be no different for you. Like, you still gonna be tired. Let's not blame it on, like, girl, we just time just changed. Like, you talking about you. Girl, you gotta go 6, 7, 8 months, like, before that changes again. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just like people could be doing so much with their lives, and
you
not
know what though?
got to be doing like we are, because this is, I get we're a different breed of of spirit, but still, like, just to know that it's got to be more than this. It's got to be more than just waking up and going to work and making money for someone else. Like, and rinse, wash, repeat type of thing. Like, no.
You know, this fits perfectly this fits perfectly with what we're talking about. Like we're literally talking about it right now. Being courageous, being independent, and trusting your instincts. Like we're not bashing anybody for whatever it is that they do, but we're talking about a level of understanding. Because like for you, you have a level of understanding and you have a level of independence and you trust your instincts to know that you're making the right decision for your life. And that requires a high level of courage. Because a lot of people, they say they want these things and they say they want to live a certain kind of life, but whenever their opportunity presents itself, they don't do anything. They don't take action. And it's because they have a lack of courage. They have a lack of self-courage. They have a, well, what if type mindset instead of what will happen if I just do it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's important. That's important to have, especially in this season. Like, we don't have time for hesitancy. We don't have time for complacency. We don't have time for us to be trying to, well, what if, and trying to calculate what will work or what won't work. What you're doing right now is not working. Let's just be honest. Like, if you're asking yourself, what if, that means that you have to just go ahead and do it because what you're currently doing is not working. Because if it was, you would have results. You would have some evidence at least showing you that this is working in my favor, right? And yeah, just moving the way you move, like moving the way you move right now takes a high level of courage. Because I remember when I first started this business, I was just like, man, I was questioning. I ain't gonna lie, because it just happens. It's instinct. It's human nature. It's like, dang, how am I gonna do this? How is this gonna work? How is that gonna work? Right? But as I was asking these questions, I would receive certain insights, and I would act upon those things. And that only came from years and years of cultivating a certain mindset and a certain skill level. Because whenever I'm presented with certain opportunities, I just execute because I'm like, who am I going to become throughout the process? And I want to see how great I can be at something that I've never done before. Right. So it's not that I look forward to failing, but I look forward to learning more about who I am, because that's the only way you can truly grow is by going through certain experiences and learning, extracting lessons from those things and seeing who you became as a result of what it is that you went through. Mm, 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 mm.
And I mean, the courage piece, like, it's like, honestly, I am operating in 2025 under the state of delulu. Delulu about who I am, my identity. Like, I am operating as a six-figure coach, even though, yeah, maybe not there financially in the 3D yet, but
Mhm,
it's coming. And
mhm,
like, I'm just imagining what this version of me that has it all. What is
mhm,
it all, right? But like that's more, that has this sense of the community that is in full alignment, people that are on that same path of personal development and entrepreneurship and things like that. The version of me that is not afraid to invest in herself, even at a high level, the version of me that does not let fear lead her to an action. And I feel like
mm,
that helped me to really step into, and make these decisions that I've been making, which is leaving, the job that helped me to reach over six figures. And um because it's like it is about alignment, and I think it takes radical accountability and a little delulu because I had people tell me like this don't make sense for you, like where I don't want you to jump the gun or this is impractical. Like I've heard those things, and it was like I did have that doubt, that fear, that anxiety, but at the end of the day, when I kept like every time those loops kept coming back, I kept challenging it. And I'm like, but wait, no. Like, but we're literally exhausted every day. Physically, emotionally, mentally, all of it, all the least. Like, it
mm,
doesn't make sense to continue with this job, even if it does get us the money. Are we enjoying
mm,
the money? Like, I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, we paying off debt, we doing things, door dashing when I want to, like, but at the same time, at what cost am I paying? And I think for me, it just became clear because it's like I felt like I was giving more than I was receiving. And the value started to come when I guess the decision became clear when I understood that I value myself more than the money. And because of that, I think that helped me to understand, okay, yeah, like, don't get me wrong, things might be tight temporarily, but you're going to be in alignment. Like, look how much energy, like, you're going to get your energy back. You're going to get that fire back, that like lust for life back. You know what I mean? And I think most people, when they're like questioning and they're doubting and they're having those fears, they're not really thinking about that because they're so used to being in survival mode. So it's like they're used to just operating like they're just surviving. They're just like day to day. Like, I just got to do what I got to do, provide for my family, take care of who I got to take care of, pay these bills. And that's it. Like, it's rinse, wash, and repeat versus it being like no, like, I want to actually enjoy my days. You know what I mean? I want to wake up where I'm actually excited and like, I wonder what's going to happen today. Or like, I was thinking about it and I'm like, it hits different because I remember just being stressed, like all the time, like going to the grocery store, stressed. Cause then I'm like, oh, I'm going to spend some money, right? Like, groceries are high, da, 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 whatever. And now I'm over here like, my hand was out the window, but I'm just jamming to the music, my playlist, and I'm just feeling the breeze in my hands, and I'm just singing and jamming. I'm feeling light. I'm looking at the trees and the beauty of nature on the way to the grocery store. And I'm like, that's so different. Like, most people, I'm looking in, I'll be nosy. I'll be looking in people's cars sometimes. And like, people got like a mean face on, or they're super like laser focused, looking at their phone and just like survival mode. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
man. I know I just went on a tangent there, but yeah. it definitely
Nah,
makes a difference.
that's facts though. Nah,
Yeah.
that's facts though. It takes a high level of courage to be independent. Like, you essentially go on the journey of, okay, it's all on me now. And I think that's the thing that really scares a lot of people, because accountability is so hard, especially when there's no one to point the finger at. And even within, there's still no level of accountability, because even if it is somebody else's fault, you're still not looking at the part that you played in the event, or whatever that may be. And I think that it takes a high level of accountability to even step into a realm of, I want to live my life on my terms, or I want to be independent, or I want to do these things, right? And especially if you were never if you were never brought up in that kind of environment, it's even scarier, because, and the only reason I use the word scary is because there are so many different learning curves that you have to overcome, like learning how to budget, right? I know a lot of people don't like that word, but it's true, especially in the beginning stages of your business, whatever it is that you're doing. You got to learn how to budget. You got to learn how to be mindful of your energy and how you're using it, because now it's on you to utilize that energy for the greater good of building whatever it is that you're building, as opposed to somebody just telling you where to go, and then you can just allocate whatever little energy is left to that thing that you're doing. Now you're allocating all of your energy to the thing that you set out to do in the first place. And I saw a post a long time ago, and it was like, it was like a joke about entrepreneurship, and the guy, I think it was a girl actually. The girl was like, "Man, I left my 9 to 5. I left my job working 9 to 5 to be a business owner, to work 24 hours." Because when you're in business for yourself, it is nonstop. It's ongoing, consistently. Sometimes you don't get a lot of sleep. Sometimes it's just like you got to go, even when you don't want to, even when you don't feel like it. But the benefit behind that is you're building something for yourself, as opposed to something already being built out. And it's just like you're put in place to just operate that thing. you're building something from the ground up. So that way, once it's built to that level, that high level to where it doesn't really need you there too much, now that leaves you open for more things. And this is the beautiful thing about it too, I believe. You enjoy the process of doing that over and over and over again. Like you enjoy the starting something new and creating something different because you see who you became as a result of what it is that you're doing. And so it's like, ooh, what else can I do? Like if I can do this and overcome all of the feelings, all of the thoughts and the emotions that came with it, what else can I do? What else can I overcome? And so this is really fortifying you to really be the greatest version of yourself. Everything that you are going to witness, because then this is for anybody, right? Anything that you are going to witness or experience is going to fortify you. It's going to make you better. You just have to recognize it. Even if you can't recognize it in the moment, you're going to recognize it later and be like, okay, I see what that was trying to teach me. And your pivot gets shorter. Like at first, this is the way I see it, right? Everything is a pivot. And sometimes it may take a little longer than others to really pivot so that way they can really see the growth and the trajectory in which they're going. Like in the beginning, it may take like a year or 2 years to pivot. Like during our spiritual journeys, like my spiritual journey, it took me 5 years to really like figure out, okay, my spiritual journey, right? Because I started young and I was just trying to figure out life. And now it's like when I'm on this journey and I encounter something, my pivot is quicker. So it doesn't take me as much time to really like, okay, figure out what's going on and how can I, maneuver so that way I can learn the lesson and get what I need out of it and just keep going, right? I think that this is the most important lesson for anybody to learn, especially in this climate right now, because there's so many uncertainties happening right now and people don't know how to navigate uncertainty. But for those like us who are in this space, sometimes things aren't guaranteed. Sometimes you're gonna have a client and they're gonna cancel out on you, and you're gonna be like, damn, I needed that client to come through because of X, Y, and Z, right? Like with me, I'll be booking loads and I'll be on the road, and certain loads I really, really want, but they don't come through. And this is like, damn, man, I really needed that one so I can get to X, Y, and Z, right? But with that uncertainty, you understand how to pivot because you don't set all your eggs in one basket. And even if you do, you can just get some more eggs and put them in the basket again. So it's unlimited to the degree in which you can grow and evolve in your own personal and in whatever it is that you're doing. So it's a beautiful process.
Yeah, and that's so true. And honestly, I feel like when I think of courage, I think of like the fact that, and this is why this is like a major part of my program, is that we need to it really you don't need to focus on having courage at all, really. You need to focus on increasing your emotional bandwidth. Because I feel like when we have courage, like it's because we have a desire, we have a goal, right? Like whatever the thing is. But a lot of times it's like we know what we want, but there's a gap, the action, right? And it's because we're trying to focus on that thing rather than focusing on right here. And really, it's about not having the identity to align with the exact goal or the desire that we want. So a lot of it I found in my, with my own journey and then with my clients, I realized that's really the thing. It is identity work and capacity. We need to build up our capacity to be able to hold and be able to navigate when life is lifing, because that's the thing. There's no difference between you and me and somebody else on the street. Life be lifing, right? Like it's just we have more of an emotional capacity, or we have more bandwidth to navigate, which allows us to ruminate less. It allows us to pivot quicker. It allows us, the ability to really navigate in a more with more of a flow than at least I know like myself 5-10 years ago, right? Like, I mean, shoot, the stuff that I went through this past year alone would have like, I'd have been still out for the count type of thing, I'd have been in deep depression and like probably going to liquor or sex or whatever the case may be. But now it's like, No, life still be life, but guess what? Like you said, I could put new eggs in the basket. So even when I made this decision to like leave this job that allowed me to hit six figures, right? Like I kept looping and I'm like, did I make the right decision? Maybe I could have stayed a couple more paychecks, you know what I mean? Like made it a little smoother of a landing or something. But then I'm like, why am I doing that? Because look at what the cost was, right? All of my capacity, even when I wasn't working, I was thinking about having to go to work, dreading going to work. And that was just constantly draining me. But yet, okay, if it turns out that in a few weeks or months or something, and I, feel like I want more income, it's not a problem, right? Like I can easily go get a job. And even if I have to go work for somebody temporarily or whatever the case may be, I can choose different. Like it doesn't have to be the crisis line, right? It doesn't mean I have to go back into that. But that's like where our brain naturally wants to think. It thinks worst case scenario. But the thing is, we just make it a problem because we don't have the emotional bandwidth to be able to handle the challenges when we're faced with them, essentially. And then that also leads me to another thing. Once we are able to increase our capacity for things, whether it's the ups and the downs, because we have to have capacity for both, right? It's really like the wins and the losses. It takes emotional regulation for both of those. However, another piece of it is what I call audacity work, because a lot of us don't give ourselves permission to have the audacity to go after the things that we know that we want. Like me making this decision to leave this job was a hell of a lot of audacity. It took a lot of audacity to be like, yeah, no, this is it. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm just gonna go full time as a coach. Like, that's crazy, right?
You were, yeah.
But a lot of us, we don't give ourselves permission to even have that audacity because we think, again, we just got to survive and we just got to do. And we're just so used to just going and going, going and not actually stopping to really feel the depths of despair almost. You know what I mean? Like the depths of like the hole that we're in, that we just keep like, it's like we climb a little bit out and then we just start the day over and we back down in the hole. And then we climb a little more out and then like, listen, we're our own lifelines. Like I look forward and I feel like this is a time that more people are coming into their own consciousness. Cause again, like you said, like we're all on this journey to figure out who the fuck we are. Like we're all just remembering who we are, because when we came to this 3D realm, we had a contract and we agreed to essentially like wipe our slate, which is why babies don't know shit when they come out, like
Yeah.
we're on this journey to remember our identity, to remember our reason. And I feel like most people are just on that, like again, it's just the mundane. And yeah, like I don't know.
I wanted to say something too to that effect. Not only does it take audacity, but you gotta have a little bit of crazy too, right? And here's the thing about it. Here's the thing about crazy, right? It's only crazy until you prove it works, and then you're a genius. You see, everything starts off as, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? That don't make sense. Right? Right? Everything starts off looking crazy in the beginning until it works. And then it's like, oh, I guess it wasn't crazy after all. But you have to have foresight.
What are the steps that you took to do this? And then people want to take notes.
Come on now. Come on now. They wish they could do what you do, but they don't have the capacity and they don't have
or audacity.
all right. Yeah, that's better. They don't have the audacity. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the audacity to step out like that because they're looking at all of the things that don't work. And you know what's so funny about that? That's evil, actually. You know why? Because you worship the problem more than you actually worship the actual working out of the thing that you're thinking about. Somebody said that one time I was watching a video, and there was like, I know what it was. It was Reverend Knight. And he was saying, like, people worship their problems more than they worship their calling. Because if you get the idea to do something, it's for a reason. You didn't just have an idea just to have an idea. You have an idea. You have the idea so that way you can execute. It may not look how it came to you at first, but it was instilled within you to get you moving. But the thing that hinders us is the doubts. And a lot of us worship doubts the same way they worship God. Like doubt is their God. Anytime they're presented with something, what's the first thing they do? How is this going to work out? Well, what if this happens? Man, I don't know about that because you didn't get that idea for no reason. There was a reason why you have this idea, this thought, and it's for you to act upon. But the thing is, we get so indoctrinated with stay safe, go to school, get a job, just the regular system, the standard system that has been in place for hundreds of years. We get so indoctrinated with that we can't see the possibilities in front of us. There are new possibilities that are in front of us right now. But because we have been so, like, the fog has been over our eyes so long that we can't see the opportunities that are available. But when we see other people taking advantage of the opportunities, we consider them lucky or blessed, or, oh, they had a leg up, right? Somebody helped them to get there. Well, regardless of the fact, they still did it. And then you go back and listen to some of their stories. It was like, yo, it's most of the times it's the same. It's like, yo, I started with nothing. I was in my mom's basement, or I had $0. I had negative dollars in my bank account, or, you know what I'm saying? Me and my partner, we was splitting sandwiches, just trying to make this thing happen. But the similarities that all these stories have is that they were so determined because they seen it. They seen how it was going to transpire. It was like, yo, I just knew this thing was going to work. I just had to keep going. Everybody was telling me to quit, go get a job, go do this, go do that, go play it safe. But I saw it. I saw the promised land. I saw what was for me, and I went for it, regardless of how anybody felt. Now look at you. You're able to do all of these amazing things, and now people are like, damn, how'd you do that? I told you how I did it in the beginning, but you wasn't listening. All you could do was see the problems. You saw my problems, but you didn't see my purpose. You didn't see my promise. You didn't see what was promised to me. So it takes a level of unhingedness to see that and to go for that. And those are the ones that truly make it in this world, I believe.
Yeah. No, that's real. And my daughter was asking me some questions, and I'm just like, oh, she's at this stage where she's like, do you have a backup plan and all these things? And I mean, like, I ain't gonna lie, when I got off the phone, I cried a little bit because I was just like, oh, am I doing the right thing? Am I, like, I told her, like, mommy still's getting income. Like, it's not like just like not getting anything. We can make this decision willy-nilly, but like, I think the difference, it's like, one, I told her, like, I see it so clearly. Like, I know, like, there's no, yeah, like, of course there's potential doubts, and there's, yeah, it could turn out differently than what I imagined at the same time. But like, I'm just so under this belief that everything works in my favor. Like, everything that happens, it works in my favor. And I told her, like, the same people that's doubting is going to be the same people that's like in awe when we pop off. Like, pop the fuck off, okay? Because it's going to happen. Like, it's just time. That's it. Time.
Yeah.
So I think that, yeah, like, just people, like you said, they're so focused on that, and they, just get stuck. And honestly, like, it's interesting because I feel like the people that are doing that, like, they're deeply religious, and they're the ones that believe, they're like, oh, I'm trying to, I gotta have the faith and just wait for God, and like, he'll make a way and all that stuff. And they just talk about it, they pray about it, and then they keep ruminating on it, and like, that's it. They don't really take action. It'd be the people that be saying they talk about heaven and hell, and it's just like, you're literally creating your own hell. Like, you are in hell, honestly. A version of it, you know what I mean? Like, you're just, when you don't feel like you're happy, and I mean, you're just giving your power away. You're not taking any type of accountability. You're not taking, having courage. You're not giving yourself, you're not operating under any type of audacity. Like, I'm like, and I told, like, a girlfriend the other day, because I'm like, God did not make you, like, get you to this point and not have you, like, he didn't put you here to like not want to enjoy life, to not really bear the fruits of your labor. You know what I mean? Like there's no reason why you have to just stay exhausted all the time and feeling like even no matter how much sleep you get. Cause I'm talking about like just going to bed, six something, like in the bed at six something in the evening and just still tired. And it's like, no, we don't have to do this. Like, I think what shifted for some of us that are, you know, on like, I think the spiritual journey is that we get to the point where it's like, no, this can't be all that there is. Like, there has to be more beyond that. Cause like, I know that I'm not fully showing up the way that I want to. The things aren't happening the way I want them to, but there's got to be something. Like I think people sometimes, like in religion, they're waiting for the faith like they need something tangible sometimes for faith. And at least the level of delulu that I'm at this point, it's like I'm literally creating the faith. Like there's no safety net here. Like we're just going, but we know that we're in alignment, so it's got to work out. Like either way. What'd you say? What was your thing that you said? You said something on the phone. You were like,
It has to work or it has to work.
yeah, like there's no other option. Like everything works out in my favor. Like why? Because it's my life. Like,
Everything works out the way it's supposed to.
you know,
Sure.
either, there's no losses. It's wins or lessons. But the thing is, some of us just don't really grasp the lesson. So then we just have to keep repeating the shit until, as my dad says, a hard ass makes a soft butt. A hard head makes a soft butt.
Yeah.
What do you say? Yeah,
A
something like
hard head makes it soft. Yeah. You said it right. Said it right.
yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, right? It's gonna wrap it up all nice and pretty. At the end of the day, we're not telling anybody to go out here and be reckless, but we're just telling you to have faith and have courage and
In
trust
yourself.
in yourself. Yeah, in yourself. Trust your instincts because the only way you build trust with yourself is through action. When you feel compelled to do something, do it and see what happens, right? Just do it and see what happens because the more you do it, even if it doesn't feel like, and most of the times, right, you do have to have discernment, right? You got to have discernment to know right and wrong, all of that good stuff. But when you get inspired action, that action to just move the needle forward, try it and see what happens, right? You ain't gotta jump off the boardwalk, but you at least gotta look down and see like, okay, what we doing, like how we moving. So yeah, that just goes to show you though. That just goes to show you that growth doesn't happen in the usual places.
And neither do we.
She remember. Oh man, I was like, oh, I don't think she's gonna remember. I'm gonna do it anyway. But yeah. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Beyond the Usual, where we don't just talk about it, we go beyond it.
Go beyond it. So then you messed up that part. Like, come on now.
All right. We'll get it right next time.
No, we're gonna do this again. You let it down.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Beyond the Usual podcast, where we don't just talk about it.
No, you got to start the whole thing over now, so you could just have a clean cut.
And remember, growth doesn't happen in the usual places.
And neither do we.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Beyond the Usual podcast, where we don't just talk about it.
We go beyond it.
And until next time, peace and progress.
Peace, y'all.